Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to start our revision on the syllabus. We are going to discuss different types of questions and the problems. So let us start. The first type of question is choose the correct answer. Benzoic acid is prepared by the oxidation of toluene in the presence of what? Vanadium pentoxide, acidified potassium permanganate, manganese dioxide, or chromic acid. If you think about the answer, yes, it will be vanadium pentoxide. Next point, PVC is produced from the polymerization of what? Tetrafluoroethene, vinyl chloride, propene, or ethene. If you think about the answer, yes, it will be vinyl chloride. Next point, we can measure the electric potential of electrodes by using what? Daniell cell, standard hydrogen electrode, standard silver electrode, standard oxygen electrode. Yes, the answer to be standard hydrogen electrode. Next point, glycine is considered from what kind of acid? Is it hydroxyl, aromatic, or amino, or fatty acids? Yes, the answer it will be amino acid. Next point, chemical formula of ester obtained from reaction of acetic acid with methanol is what? Is it CH3COO-C2H5, or CH3COO-CH3, or C6H5COO-CH3, or HCOO-CH3? Yes, if you write the chemical equation, yes, it will be CH3COO-CH3. Next point, all of these chemical formula don't represent esters except CH3O-CH2CO-CH3, or C2H5CO-C2H5, or CH3O-C6H5, or CH3COO-C2H5. Yes, it will be CH3COO-C2H5. Next type of question, my dear student, two elements A and B form a galvanic cell. Its electromotive force is 1.5 volt. Calculate the standard reduction potential of element A, given that element A is more active than B, and the standard reduction potential of B is 0.7 volt. Yes, if you think about the solution, my dear student, you will find that element A is more active than B. What that means that the value of the standard oxidation potential of A is higher than that of B. So A acts as anode while B acts as cathode. Then the EMF equal reduction potential of cathode B minus reduction potential of anode A. Then 1.5 equals 0.7 minus X, which is negative 0.8 volt. Next type of question, write the IUPAC name for the following compounds. As shown on the screen, this molecule will be named 2,3-dimethyl-2-butene. As shown on the screen, it will be 1-bromo-2-chloro-cyclopentane. As shown on the screen, CH3CH2CH-Br-CH2 C triple bond CH, it will be 4-bromo-1-hexane. As shown on the screen, here numbering of carbon atom, then will be 3-methyl-1-pentene. As shown on the screen, has name 3,6-dimethyl-octane. As shown on the screen, this molecule will be named 2-phenyl-propane. And this molecule, my dear student, its name will be 2-bromo-1-butene. And this molecule, my dear student, it will be 2,3-dichloro-1-butene. And this molecule, my dear student, it will be 2-bromo-3-methyl-1-butene. And this molecule 2-bromo-3-chloro-1-butene. And this molecule, my dear students, 3-ethyl 2-methyl 1-pentene, and this name will be 2-bromo 3-ethyl 2-pentene. And the molecule shown on the screen, it will be 2,3-dimethyl 2-pentene, and this molecule will be 3,3-dimethyl 1-pentene. The next type of question, compare between fuel cell and lead acid cell. As shown on the screen, the anode in the fuel cell is hydrogen, while in lead acid cell, lead plates filled with spongy lead. The cathode in fuel oxygen, and here in lead acid cell, lead plates filled with lead dioxide. And the electrolyte, here is KOH, here H2SO4. The next type of question, write your objection on the following nomenclature. 1-chloro-4-butene, yes, it will be 4-chloro-1-butene. 2-ethyl 1-propene, yes, it will be 2-methyl 1-butene. 4-methyl 4-butene, if you draw it, yes, the correct name, it will be 3-methyl 1-butene. Next type of question, explain using balanced equation how can you obtain iron 2 sulfate from iron 2 oxide. As the equation proceeds on the screen, FeO plus H2SO4 dilute gives FeSO4 plus H2O. Ethylene glycol from ethine. C2H2 plus H2 in the presence of divided nickel, it gives ethylene. Then ethylene on bioreaction reacts with water and atomic oxygen produced from alkaline potassium permanganate gives ethylene glycol CH2OH CH2OH. Next type of question, write the scientific expression for each of the following statements. The reaction of benzene with methyl chloride in the presence of catalyst. Yes, it's a Friedrich-Crafts alkylation reaction. Next one, the minimum amount of energy that must be gained by a molecule to react at collision. Yes, it will be activation energy. The type of alloys occurs when all the atoms of the alloys have the same diameter and the same chemical properties and the crystalline structure. Yes, it is substitutional alloy. The hydroxyl derivative of aliphatic hydrocarbon. Yes, alcohols. Next point, the reaction between organic acid with sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. Yes, it will be acidity test. Next type of questions, write the structure formula for each of the following. The product obtained by evaporating ammonium cyanide solution. Yes, it will be urea as shown on the screen. The compound produced from the reaction between benzene and the methyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride. Yes, it will be toluene. The aromatic compound formed from the reaction of chlorine with nitrobenzene in the presence of catalyst. Yes, it will be metachloronitrobenzene, as nitro group is meta-directing group. Next type of question, arrange the following organic compounds in an ascending order to their boiling point. Ethylene glycol, sorbitol, glycerol, ethanol. As shown on the screen, ethanol less than ethylene glycol, less than glycerol, less than sorbitol, as the number of hydroxyl group increases and hydrogen bond increases. Next type of question, explain by balanced chemical equation what happens in each of the following cases. Hydrolysis of ethyl hydrogen sulfate. As the equation proceeds on the screen, C2H5HSO4 plus H2O, it gives C2H5OH plus H2SO4. The passage of chlorine gas on red hot iron. Iron plus chlorine gives iron 3 chloride. Dissolving ammonium chloride in water. As the equation proceeds on the screen, ammonium chloride plus water gives ammonium hydroxide, which is formed as it is weak alkali, and hydrogen ion and chloride ion are formed as the hydrochloric acid is strong. Next type of question: what is the role of water gas in Midrex furnace? The reduction of hematite. As the equation proceeds on the screen, 2Fe2O3 plus 3CO plus 3H2 by heating gives 4Fe plus 3CO2 plus 3H2O. Next type of question: how can you differentiate practically between each of the following? Copper sulfate and aluminum sulfate. By adding sodium hydroxide solution on the salt solution, if blue precipitate is formed, turns to black by heating, it will be copper. As the equation proceeds on the screen, 2NaOH plus copper sulfate gives sodium sulfate and copper hydroxide that on heating gives black copper oxide. While with aluminum, if white precipitate is formed of aluminum hydroxide that dissolves in excess of reagent, it forms sodium meta-aluminate, so it is aluminum sulfate. As the equation proceeds on the screen, aluminum sulfate plus sodium hydroxide gives sodium sulfate and the aluminum hydroxide, which is white gelatinous precipitate, that reacts with excess of sodium hydroxide, giving soluble sodium meta-aluminate, and water is produced. Next point: iron 2 sulfate and iron 3 sulfate. Salt solution plus sodium hydroxide solution. If white-green precipitate is formed, it is iron 2 sulfate. As the equation proceeds on the screen, 2NaOH plus FeSO4 gives Na2SO4 plus FeOH all 2. If reddish-brown precipitate is formed, so it is iron 3 sulfate. As the equation proceeds on the screen, Fe2SO4 all 3 plus 6 NaOH gives 3 Na2SO4 plus 2 FeOH all 3. Next type of question, my dear student: explain a practical experiment showing the effect of temperature on chemical reaction in a state of equilibrium. As shown on the screen, get a flask containing nitrogen dioxide gas which has reddish brown color at room temperature. As the equation proceeds, my dear student, 2NO2 that has reddish brown color that gives N2O4 and heat in exothermic reaction. Then, when the flask is in hot water, it becomes a dense brown color because the reaction shifts in the backward direction, forming reddish brown nitrogen dioxide gas. But when the flask is cooled, it becomes colorless, as the reaction shifts forward direction, forming the colorless dinitrogen tetroxide, as shown on the screen. My dear students, next type of question: from the following substance and tools, acidified potassium permanganate, aqueous caustic soda, hydroiodic acid, propene, benzene flame, write the balanced chemical equation to obtain secondary aliphatic alcohol solution. Here propene plus hydroiodic acid, it gives CH3CHI-CH3. Then CH3CHI-CH3 on alkaline hydrolysis with potassium hydroxide aqueous and heat gives CH3CHOH-CH3, which is 2-propanol and giving potassium iodide. Name the obtained alcohol according to IUPAC system, so it will be 2-propanol. Show by symbolic equation the oxidation product of this alcohol. As the equation proceeds on the screen, the secondary alcohol CH3CHOH-CH3 by oxidation in the presence of potassium permanganate acidified by sulfuric acid, it gives acetone CH3COCH3 and water is produced. Next type of question, my dear student: compare between mercury cell and lithium-ion battery. As shown on the screen, the anode in mercury cell is hydrogen, while in lithium-ion battery, lithium graphite. In the cathode, here oxygen, and here lithium cobalt oxide. And the electrolyte here is potassium hydroxide, and here hexafluorolithium phosphide. Next question, my dear students: how can you obtain benzamide from benzene? Write the symbolic equation and state the condition of the reaction. As shown on the screen, benzene reacts with methyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride. It gives toluene and HCl, which is called Friedrich-Crafts alkylation reaction. Then toluene, upon oxidation with vanadium pentoxide in 400 degrees Celsius, it gives benzoic acid and water is produced as shown on the screen. Then benzoic acid reacts with ethanol, giving ethyl benzoate as C6H5COOC2H5 plus water is produced. Then on ammonolysis, here the ammonia reacts with ethyl benzoate, giving benzamide C6H5CONH2 plus C2H5OH. Next type of question, my dear students. How can you differentiate experimentally between each of the following? Sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite. By adding acidified potassium permanganate solution to each one. If the color disappears of potassium permanganate, the salt is sodium nitrite. But if the color doesn't change, the salt is sodium nitrate. My dear student, next type of question. In the following equilibrium state, half N2 plus half O2 gives NO, delta H is positive. What are the factors that favor the increase of the amount of nitric oxide? The answer: increase the concentration of reactants or increase the temperature. Next type of question. Explain how can you test for carbon and hydrogen in an organic compound and draw the apparatus used. Procedure: heat the organic compound with copper oxide in a test tube. Pass the resulting gases over anhydrous white copper sulfate, then through clear lime water. As shown on the screen, organic substance plus black copper oxide, then they give water vapor which changes the white anhydrous copper sulfate into blue, and then carbon dioxide gas turned with lime water. So the observation here, the white copper sulfate will be changed into blue. As the equation proceeds on the screen, 2H plus CuO gives, by heating, Cu plus H2O. And the lime water turns turbid. As the equation proceeds on the screen, C plus 2CuO gives 2Cu plus CO2. The conclusion here, the organic compound contains mainly carbon and hydrogen. Next type of question, show by symbolic equation and writing the reaction condition how each of the following can be obtained. The 3 oxides of iron from siderite. As the equation proceeds on the screen, iron 2 carbonate on heating gives iron 2 oxide and carbon dioxide gas produced. Then the oxidation of iron 2 oxide gives iron 3 oxide. Then iron 3 oxide on reduction by carbon monoxide at 230 till 300 degrees Celsius, it gives the magnetic iron oxide Fe3O4 plus carbon dioxide. Chloroform from methane. As the equation proceeds, CH4 plus Cl2 in the presence of ultraviolet gives methyl chloride and hydrogen chloride gas. Then CH3Cl plus chlorine in the ultraviolet here gives CH2Cl2 plus HCl. Then CH2Cl2, another replacement of hydrogen, plus chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet gives CHCl3 plus HCl, which is chloroform obtained. Next question. 1,2-dibromoethane from ethanol. As the equation proceeds on the screen, ethanol in the presence of conc sulfuric acid at 180 degrees, it gives ethylene and water is produced. Then bromine, when reacts with ethylene, gives 1,2-dibromoethane as shown on the screen. Next type of question, my dear student. Give reason for. Ethane sometimes burns with smoky flame. Because it burns in limited amount of air and the carbon is not completely burned. Olefins are more active than paraffins. Because olefins contain double bond formed of sigma bond, which is strong and cannot be broken easily. and by bond which it can be broken easily, thus olefins are very active, while paraffins contain single bonds only between the carbon atoms of sigma type, which cannot be broken easily. Therefore, they are less reactive than olefins. Next point, phenolphthalein is not used to detect acidic solution because it is colorless in the acidic medium. Metals of the first transition series are considered to be ideal catalysts due to the presence of 3d electrons which form weak bonds with the reacting molecules and increasing their concentration on the surface of the catalyst, so weaken the bond of the reactant molecules and decreasing their activation energy and therefore increasing the rate of reaction. Next type of question, my dear student, if you are provided with the following compounds: distilled water, ethylene, caustic soda, potassium permanganate solution, how can you prepare the following compound? Dihydric alcohol by writing the symbolic equation and the name the reaction. Here it will be ethylene glycol and the name of the reaction will be Bayer reaction. As the equation proceeds on the screen, ethylene CH2 double bond CH2 plus H2O plus O in the presence of potassium permanganate in alkaline medium, it gives CH2OH CH2OH, which is ethylene glycol. Next type of question, my dear student, write the role of each of the following. Hot zinc powder in converting phenol into benzene. Is the answer, it will be zinc powder acts as a reducing agent. Ethylene glycol as antifreeze substance in car radiator in cold countries. Yes, the answer, it will be it forms hydrogen bonds with water molecules and prevents their combination with each other in the form of ice crystals. Next type of question, write the scientific expression for each of the following. It is the quantity of electricity when it is passed for 1 second through a solution of silver ions will precipitate 1.118 milligram of silver. Is the answer, it will be ampere. The possession of organic compounds for same molecular formula but their difference in physical and chemical properties due to their difference in the structure formula. Yes, if you think about it, it will be isomerism. It is the quantity of electricity produced when the intensity of the electric current is 1 ampere passes through any conductor for 1 second. Yes, the answer, it will be Coulomb. Next type of question, give reason for. The ethyl iodide is preferred than ethyl chloride in the preparation of ethanol. The answer is because the hydrolysis of ethyl iodide is easier than the hydrolysis of ethyl chloride. Next point, butanoic acid is monobasic while phthalic acid is dibasic. Support your answer with the structure formula for each. Because butanoic acid contains 1 repressible hydrogen atom while phthalic acid contains 2 repressible hydrogen atoms as shown on the screen, this is structure formula of butanoic acid C3H7COOH, and here benzene ring attached to carboxylic group 2 adjacent carbon atom gives phthalic acid. The next type of question, explain briefly. How detergent act? The answer, when the detergent is dissolved in water, their molecules rearrange themselves where the hydrophobic tail of each molecule is directed toward the dirt and the textile and adhere with them, while the hydrophilic head are directed toward the water, so the detergent molecules surround the dirt completely. So, with any mechanical rubbing, the textile and the dirt repel each other because both of them carry the same positive charge, so dirt is separated from the textile. Next point, apply Markovnikov rule to the addition of halogen acid to propene, write the symbolic equation. The answer, on adding halogen acid 2-propylene, the hydrogen atom is added to the unsaturated carbon atom that rich in hydrogen, while the halogen atom is added to the carbon atom which is poor in hydrogen, that have a small number of hydrogen atoms. So 2-bromopropane is formed. As the equation proceeds on the screen, CH3CH double bond CH2 plus HBr, it gives CH3CHBr CH3. Next type of question, my dear student. In the following chemical equilibrium, FeCl3 plus 3NH4SCN gives FeSCN3 plus 3NH4Cl. Explain the effect of increasing concentration of iron 3 chloride to the color of the solution. The answer: if excess iron 3 chloride is added, the red color of the solution increases, which indicates the formation of excess of iron 3 thiocyanate. Next type of question. What is the role of each of the following? Analytical chemistry in medicine field. Measurement of the active ingredients in drugs and analysis of sugar in blood and urine and many other industrial products. Next type of question, my dear student. Complete and rewrite the following statements after correcting the underlined word. On dissolving sodium acetate in water, the solution is neutral, and on dry distillation it yields what? Here the answer: on dissolving sodium acetate in water, the solution is alkaline, and on dry distillation it gives here methane. The common name of 1,2,3-trichlorobenzene is picric acid, which is used in what? Here is the correct answer here. The common name of 2,4,6-trinitrophenol is picric acid, which is used in the treatment of burns. Next type of question. Explain how the following scientists contributed in the development of the science. Keitel, Berzelius, Haber, and Goldberg and Wagg. Keitel, he discovered the hexagonal cyclic shape of benzene, in which the single and double bond between carbon atoms are exchanged. Berzelius, he classified the chemical compounds into organic and inorganic compounds, and also he considers the vital forces theory. Haber, the preparation of ammonia in industry. As the equation proceeds on the screen, N2 plus 3H2 in the presence of iron and molybdenum at 200 atmospheric pressure, it gives ammonia gas. Goldberg and Wagg, which stated the law of mass action. At constant temperature, the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of multiplication of the reactant concentration. Each is raised to the power of number of molecules or ions in the balanced chemical equation. My dear students, we have reached to the end of our program today. I hope you understood all the points and different types of problems and the questions that we discussed today. So till we meet again, my best wishes for you.